So I did want to spend just a couple of minutes on the underlying brain software, because the brain software is a lot more than just the web client that we've been talking about here in the context of the climate web and open access to the climate web online. And so just to give you a little bit more, because you might want to use the brain for other purposes. We do. And it represents, I think, the best combination of ease of use and power of use for personal knowledge management systems that I'm aware of. So first of all, the brain at TheBrain.com is a commercial software. We have no financial interest in the software, but they've been around for quite a few years. They're always innovating in this space, and it's an amazing tool. And you can go, and at the top of the screen, you'll see products, learn about, they do weekly webinars, et cetera. So you can check it out to see how you might be able to use it in addition to the climate web. Because the brain has, yes, it has the web client. Until recently, the brain had not spent a huge amount of time really thinking about the web client. Now that's changed. We're very happy to see that. But it has desktop software, both free and professional, both for the PC and the Mac. And there are different pricing programs, whether a one-time or whether an annual subscription. But you can also use it for free, and you'll have most of the capabilities, not all of them, but you'll have most of the capabilities even with the free version. So very easy to download and play with from thebrain.com. They also have mobile apps for iOS and Android, which happen to be free. And that's another great way. You can actually build your brain on your iPhone as you go. There's also a team brain product, which is what we use in terms of multiple people wanting to collaborate on the same brain. So that might be useful to you. So a number of different products associated with the brain line. I've been using the brain for 15 years. I have a personal brain that I call the brain to rule all brains. And in the case of a personal brain, you don't have to spend nearly as much time and effort figuring out how to organize it as we do for the climate web. You can simply dump stuff in there because it's very easy to find again. So we organize our home inventory here. All of our key documents are here. Key passwords are in here. There's just a ton of stuff that is organized in my personal brain. I also have a professional brain. All the PowerPoints I've ever done, all the papers, articles I've published, everything is there. And I make a joke of it, but it's actually true that if something happened to my digital brain, so to speak, and it's on multiple hard drives backed up in multiple places and safety deposit boxes, et cetera. But if something really happened to it and suddenly I didn't have it anymore, retirement or harakiri would be the two choices that I would have, because it is so valuable to me now that I've been using it for 15 years. It's sort of like planting a tree. When's the best time to plant a tree? 10 years ago, what's the second best time to plant a tree today? And it's the same with personal knowledge management. I am a strong advocate that anybody in high school, anybody in college, anyone professionally should, in today's knowledge economy, should be using some kind of a knowledge management system. There are lots of them out there. The brain happens to be very flexible, very easy to use for a variety of different purposes. And I'd encourage you to think about taking advantage of the brain totally separate from whether you take advantage of the climate web. And just to give you a sense of why the brain software is called the brain, this is a view of the climate web that you'll never see, but this is what's actually going on behind the screen. Everything is linked together. And so it actually starts to look like a brain in terms of neurons and ganglia, et cetera. And when you think about the climate web, for example, which has 200,000 thoughts, 700,000 links in terms of how those thoughts are linked together. There are other brains out there that are bigger than that. Some are much bigger than that. And so that's the power of this software. Now, a couple features of the desktop software I've talked about in earlier videos. One of the features is if I hover over a thought in the desktop software, the associated report or the associated URL will open up for me right away in the notes field. And that doesn't happen in the web client. Another thing with the Brain desktop software, and specifically the professional version, not the free version, is what is called reports, which is what you see on the right-hand side there. And it allows you to slice and dice everything that's in the Brain in a whole bunch of ways, by different types, by tags. You can basically generate a report, a subset of content in your Brain very easily with the report feature. So that is one of the real benefits of paying for a Brain subscription. Similarly, in the Brain, in Brain Professional, you have additional views. You have the outline view as opposed to the view that you saw in the web client videos. The outline view can be very useful. So that's what's shown here. You also have what's called the mind map view, which replicates what you might see in other mind mapping tools. But you can then expand the mind map, and it can be a very useful way of accessing information and visualizing your Brain. Again, this is a feature of the Brain Professional. I just wanted to give you a bit more sense of what you can do with the software. One of the interesting aspects of the mind map view is that it's static. You can click on a thought like bridging expert silos. It'll open up in the notes field, but the mind map view won't change. So then you can click on another thought and it'll open in the notes field, but the mind map view will stay static. And again, that can simply be very useful as a way of exploring content in a big Brain. So that gives you a quick look at the underlying software platform that we've used for the Climate Web, but it has a lot of value and a lot of other uses. I'd encourage you to check it out. If you have a high school student, I encourage you to point them to it. If you're in college, I'd encourage you to start your own knowledge management system sooner rather than later. Same goes if you're already a professional. In any case, I hope you've enjoyed these videos. If you have any questions, our contact information is available in the Climate Web. It's in the drop-down list in the pins menu, and we're happy to get your questions. And you can follow us on Facebook and on LinkedIn, etc. Thanks for watching.